Well, we just got back from going on a call where someone had caught an alligator. Now, you're not supposed to catch alligators from the wild, but for this situation, that's kind of beside the point. This alligator needed some help. And so we have the gator now, and I'm going to tell you, I've caught a lot of gators, and we've had a lot of gators that have come in here, but I've never seen an alligator like this before, ever. So this is what I would call a normal American alligator. Now, for people who don't see alligators all the time, if you've seen one alligator, you've seen them all, they all pretty much look the same. But for people who work with these on a daily basis, especially a particular group of alligators, it becomes really easy to tell which gator is which. Not only do they look different, but they all have different personalities, just like people do. Some are much more enjoyable to be around, and others you could kind of do without. So it's the same thing with alligators. Now, get a good look at this alligator's head. So he looks like a typical alligator. Well, today we got an alligator call, and we went to rescue this gator. And it's an alligator like I've never seen before. All right, so let's put that up. All right, and here's the new gator. This is the one that we had to rescue today. Now, when you first look at this gator, kind of looks like a normal alligator, right? Well, the person who caught this gator kind of thought the same thing. So let me tell you what happened. So someone goes out and they see this little gator, and they decide they want to catch it. Now, first of all, it's illegal to catch alligators, okay? But that's beside the point in this case. They catch the alligator, and after they catch the alligator, they notice there's a problem with this gator. Its jaw is broke, but that's not the crazy thing, okay? That's one of the crazy things. Now, let's look at his jaw. You see right, I'm sorry, buddy, right underneath here, the jaw is broken and separated. And that's an old injury. It's actually healed over quite well. Apparently this gator got tangled up with maybe another alligator. And that's a pretty bad injury. The gator's tongue, yes, gators have tongues, is actually visible just a little bit right up in there. But that's not the really weird thing, because I've seen that before. And gators can survive that. This is what I've never seen before. This gator came into the world with no eyes. That's not an injury. That's how it was hatched from the egg. I mean, there's not even eyelids there to close. It's just skin grown over where the eyes would be. This alligator is completely blind. If you look at how long this gator is, we're going to measure him. This alligator is not a hatchling. This alligator has been out in the wild for, I don't know, what, a year? 2 years? And he's been out there this entire time completely blind, swimming around with other bigger alligators, and not only swimming around, but surviving and catching prey. So when they gave us the gator, my first thought is, wow, I've never seen an alligator like this. I mean, it just looks sad to me. It looks so sad. But then I got to thinking, you know, his body condition looks really good. He doesn't look unhealthy. He looks like he's been eating pretty well. He's not overweight. He's a perfect weight for a little young American alligator. And I got to thinking, I really hate to take this alligator out of the wild where he's been doing pretty well so far, it appears. So I made some phone calls, and we started calling some other people that know a little bit about gators. And I talked to several different people. Every person I talked to kind of said, you know, it's amazing that alligator has survived in the wild being blind this long. But the chances of him continuing to survive the next several months, or especially the next several years, is pretty much slim to none. At some point, this gator is going to become part of the food chain. So if you turn him loose, he'll survive for a while, but this thing is not going to be out there long term for many, many years to come. So they said, if you want him to survive, Jason, you're going to have to keep him in captivity. After hearing that from several other experts, and we even consulted with the state, the Department of Natural Resources, and they agreed that this is one situation where this alligator is probably going to do a lot better in captivity. So that's exactly what the plan is at this point. This alligator will become part of our program animals, and we'll use it to teach people just how cool alligators are and what survival mechanisms these guys have. Now, one thing I want to show you, we're going to have to get in really close on this one, is right here on the side of this alligator's jaws. It's really hard to see. Are all these little tiny black dots. Those dots are sensors. They're actually called integumentary sensory organs, or we call them ISOs for short. Those sensors are extremely sensitive. You know, when we want to feel something, we use our hands, our fingertips. When a gator wants to feel something, he uses his head. And alligators have 4,000 of those ISO sensors on their head, even inside their mouth, on their tongue, and in between their teeth. And those sensors are 10 times more sensitive than the human fingertip. Now that's incredible. So what this gator's been doing is, one, he's been doing an okay job, not a great job, at avoiding bigger alligators that can hurt him because he's already got a broke jaw from one. But he's been able to follow prey basically by feeling the ripples of the water as they swim and catch them. So when a fish comes up and barely touches him right here, he can grab it, and hopefully it's a fish he's grabbing. And he's able to hunt really, really well because of those sensors. But what happens with gators is, as they grow, wherever they're spending their time, they may outgrow that water source. So oftentimes they have to go over land in search of new water sources. That's quite common. If this gator ever has to do that, he may never find the right water source. And so that's why we made the decision to pluck this little guy out of nature, unfortunately. But I really do truly believe he's going to have a better home in captivity than he would have long-term in nature. So we're going to get him to eat. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's usually not a problem getting alligators to eat in captivity. But one more thing we have to do for this guy is we have to come up with a name. This alligator's got to have a name, and I have no idea what to name this gator. If you have a suggestion, please comment below, and we might just choose the name that you pick. Now also, right back here on the back of the head is this little tiny slit right here above where my finger is. That's the alligator's ears. And he can physically, manually close his ears when he goes underwater. So even though he's blind, he can hear. He can hear me talking right now. And those sensors can very much so feel my finger on the sides of his jaw. So he has a sense of smell, he has a sense of taste, and he has good hearing. He just happens to be blind. And even without eyesight, those other senses are so sharp, he's been able to do pretty well for himself until the day he meets a larger alligator. At that point, I don't think he's going to fare very well. So don't forget to comment your idea for a name for this little gator. Also, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos we upload in the future. Just subscribing doesn't guarantee you'll be notified when we go live or upload a new video.